got to ask a question, and it is a little bit early in the season, but we're going to ask it anyway. Is there a crisis at Everton? No goal scored, bottom of the league, wasteful up front, and that has ensured, sadly, Everton's worst start to a Premier League season. The game day phone on Saturday, Jamie, the Everton fan, joined Jamie Hart and Jason Cundy to give a passionate rant about Sean Dyche at the state of the club.
Someone once said Sean Dyche is a ginger Mourinho. He's a ginger Mike Walker. Get the man out. I'm telling you now, if we had Franco Baresi at centre-half, he'd still play Michael Keane. We signed 4 new players in the summer, and he started 1 against Brighton and Spurs. He'd come out today, the Sports yesterday, whenever it was, and he said, hero, villain, this place is extreme. He's speaking like the cop-height he is. Let me tell you, he's no hero. Let me explain why. Season 1, we had no new manager bounce at all. We went to the final game of the season against Bournemouth and we survived. Season 2, we had 1 good week. We beat Forest, Liverpool and Brentford in a week. Before that, we had 1 win in 11 and Chelsea beat us by 6. He starts this season and says Michael Keane had a strong pre-season. He played against Salford. Salford beat us 2-1. Coventry beat us 3-0.
Well, clearly a very disgruntled Everton fan, Jamie there. Listen, Andy, we're 2 games into the season. I can understand the concern. There has to be concern, I get it. But it's very early into the season, no?
Look, very early. And we've all been there when your manager, I've had that, being skipper, you've had the manager say to you, listen, take the boys out, get them out for a drink. You lot need to get out and sort a few things. Now, it's no time for it. It's not crisis meeting time. However, what they've got to do is they've got to get something on the board pretty quickly, Ali, because again we've got an international break coming up. Players are going to go, and then during that international break, if you're sat rock bottom of the pile without a point on the board, it can be really.
Well, we've got
tough.
some. I think we've got John, an Everton fan, that called 03717 223344. Was Jamie right to be? A very good morning, John. Is Jamie right to be concerned?
Morning, gents. We've got two big problems at Everton, 2 big, massive problems, and I'm not a football. Let's put it this way: I'm not an expert in football, but I've watched every Everton game over the last 35, 40 years. And what the big issue we've got, and the massive issue, and we've had it for a number of seasons, is we don't score goals.
Yeah.
Last season, we were the 3rd worst scoring record in the Premier League. I think we scored 40 all season. And the manager, with the limited money he's got, he goes out and he buys a centre-half. He buys a midfielder. He buys a winger. He buys a number 10. And now the only half-decent striker we've got in Calvert-Lewin, they talked about him going, which would leave us with Beto and a young kid.
Yeah.
I said 2 or 3 seasons ago when Leicester got relegated, go and get Jamie Vardy for a few years. He'll score us goals. Go and get us experienced strikers who can score goals. We can't score goals. When we don't look like scoring. And if you don't score goals, you don't win matches.
No. John, you make a good point, because Ipswich just went and got Sammy Smodic, didn't they, from Blackburn. And a proven goal scorer in the Championship, someone who's been rattling in serious numbers. If Everton can't go and find something that they would ideally like because of the cost and because of the difficulty of getting players to come, whatever, then you'd think they'd be going into the Championship and trying to raid something, trying to find something there. Go up to Scotland, Ali. There must be 1 or 2 that would run through brick walls.
Yeah. Look at David Moyes. He used to bring young, hungry players in from the Championship who wanted to prove themselves.
Yep.
Who are we buying? Foreigners that no one's ever heard of, that we think could be good. Yep. And then the second problem we've got is the manager, is the arrogant manager. So I was there last week. We're getting beat 2-0. There's 10 minutes to go. He takes off an attacker, as in McNeil, and brings on a defender. And the crowd it's emptied in 2 minutes. His post-match interview, when he was asked about it, Dyche says, well, that's what they do here when they're not winning. That's not what we do. We do that when we see his choices. He doesn't make substitutions. We were screaming out to bring on new players, like the new players that we bought, the new attacking players who were supposed to be half all right. I've had very little. We've had a couple of minutes in the second game, a couple of minutes in the first game. He's saying that they're not match fit. Why aren't they match fit? He's had them all pre-season. Okay, they didn't play much for the clubs last year, but play them for an hour or for the first half, and then take them off if they're not match fit and bring on the very, very average steady Eddies we've got.
All right, John. Listen, I appreciate the call, mate. We're going to have to.
John, thanks,
We're
pal.
going to have to move on, but thanks. Appreciate him. Obviously, understand. Appreciate your concerns as well. It's now time to join former Everton captain. Thanks very much for joining us this morning. It's Alan Stubbs. Stubbsy, good morning. How are you?
Morning, Al.
Morning, Coasty. Morning, Andy.
Great to have you on, Stubbsy. Appreciate you coming on as always. The unfortunate thing is, and the sad thing is, the last few times we've had you on, it's kind of doom and gloom, and it hasn't changed this weekend, mate.
The last couple of years, Ali. Last couple of times.
I know.
No, listen, as I totally agree with some of the comments there from Andy and the callers. It's not time to panic right now, but I think the manner in the performances in the first couple of games is the biggest worry for me, is because they've looked quite a way off it, and that is the concern. We know it's early on, but the damning fact for Everton is that we haven't brought in a goal scorer in the last 3 or 4 years, and then we've had Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who unfortunately has had a very much stop-start. A couple of seasons where he was out more than what he was in, and our goal scoring or goal scores scored record is as poor as anybody. When if we go 1-0 down, it's very difficult for Everton to get back into the game because we don't score enough goals. And the caller's exactly right. That's not being addressed, and that's not anyone. That's Sean Dyche and the club for not addressing that.
Yeah. You'd think, Stubbsy, you'd think there'd be someone you can go and get on loan, even if there's that particular individual. I don't know where he's coming from, but you're obviously not going to go and get star-studded stellar strikers. You're not going to get that. Everyone knows that. But you get something with a bit of know-how, or someone that's a bit raw that wants to really throw himself at it and really have a go.
Yeah. No, I can't disagree with what they're saying. Is that it's just so frustrating right now. And I think the last thing that Sean Dyche needs to pick a fight with right now is the fans.
Yes.
Because I thought a couple of his comments last week was the wrong call. Everton fans walked out at 2-0 because they were just completely frustrated. And I know there's the argument of fans should stay till the final whistle. I get all that. But as he said, when you're bringing on Mason Holgate, who shouldn't really be there, when you're taking off an attacker when you're 2-0 down, that was like damage limitation. But you've left a lad on the bench who we've brought in, and he's 100% right. The previous caller is that we've brought four signings in this summer, and you would expect them to start. Only one of them started. So I think there's either a disconnect between the recruitment and the manager, or the manager's just not saying, well, you know what, I don't fancy them just yet.
Well, that's the point, and that's the question when you ask it. and you're 100% right. The one person that Sean Dyche does not want to, start falling out with are the Everton support, and that goes for any manager, actually, never mind just the Everton manager. But do you think his comments? Sean Dyche's a very clever, intelligent man. Do you think his comments are a sign of his own frustration?
For 1 second, I don't disregard the tough job that Sean Dyche has come into at Everton, because he's come into when he did come in, virtually an impossible job with what was going on at the club. So he's done well in terms of trying to get the team to get results with what's been going on. But we know what's going on now, so we can't keep using that as an excuse all the time now. It is what it is. But Sean Dyche is paid to get this football team to get results on the pitch. And as we speak right now, they don't look like they're getting results. No. And we don't know where the results are coming from because of the performances.
Yeah. Al, just finally, Bournemouth at home. Already it's feeling like a monumental occasion, that one, isn't it? That's got to be 3 points against a team, by the way, that that are handy, that are difficult, that, as we saw yesterday, can play a bit, and they're going to offer you a problem, but this is a game you got to win.
Andy, the big concern for me, I think 100%, it is a must-win game. But I think the teams that have come up this year look more competitive as well. You know, and whereas last season, I thought the teams that came up, they looked, they're a shoo-in to go back down.
Yeah.
This season, there's not that sign there. They've started off reasonably well, even though they might not have won games, but they look competitive. And that is a big concern for Everton.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.